What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about Dispatch episodes 7 and 8, the season finale. It's been a long but very exciting, fun 3 or 4 weeks, and man, am I just satisfied with Dispatch overall, more than satisfied. And I believe that goes for everyone who played the game, and even those who didn't play the game, maybe watch people play it online, streams and YouTube videos. This game captures such a wide audience of people, a wide group of people. It was really just an amazing thing, a really fun time. I played all 8 episodes. If you want to check those out, they'll be on my channel. But okay, starting off with episode 8, the episode starts off with the flashback of Chase and Robert when they were younger. From when the two met, we knew that Chase used to babysit Robert because Chase was the youngest member of the Brave Brigade, the team that Chase used to be on with Robert's dad. Being relatively around the same age, he used to babysit him when his dad had to handle some stuff. We see their relationship and how it's pretty much the same as right now when they're older. Robert was crying for some reason they didn't mention, but to make him feel better, Chase goes out and gets him some snacks, specifically Twinkies, because he loves those, who doesn't. And of course, Chase uses his powers to go get the Twinkies, come back, and he's back in like 5 seconds. Then right after, it cuts back to a scene in present time where Blazer and Robert are in the hospital bedroom with Chase. I guess not a hospital room, just a room, a medical room in SDN. Robert was telling Blazer how he used to make Chase run all the time when he was younger. He used to ask him to even babysit him when Robert was fine with staying home alone, just because he could kind of mess with him and make him buy him stuff. Right after that, Blazer says, so you're saying if you made him run a little less or one less time, then Chase probably wouldn't be in this hospital bed right now. And Robert kind of agrees. Naturally, after one of his best friends, probably like his best friend, is in the hospital for, partly due to him, he's realizing that now, but of course he's just feeling down right now. This is someone he's knew for a very long time, and he even feels bad because after his dad died, he kind of cut off Chase. He felt that if he was close to him, that he would remind him of his dad. A move like this by the studio, like opening up the episode with a flashback after a main character, a very likable character close to us, seems like they're gonna die or something like that. It's a very, I don't want to say cliche thing, but it happens a lot. I think the reason they do it is because it works so well. Like as soon as the opening credits started to roll, and I heard like somebody sniffling and crying, I was like, oh, we're getting a flashback, huh? Honestly, I didn't really think we were going to get a flashback. Didn't really come across my mind just because we didn't get any flashbacks the whole game up until now. But I think that made this scene a lot more powerful because, it was specifically for Chase. But going back to the scene with Robert, Chase, and Blazer, Blazer brings up the fact that now Invisigal, because of what she did going off on her own to get the Astro Pulse, she's suspended indefinitely pending investigation. She even suggests that Robert should probably cut Vizzy. Of course, there are 3 options, but I can only remember 2 right now. I believe you can say you don't want to think about it right now and you'll just get back to her on whether or not you're going to cut Vizzy, or you can just say you don't want to do it because it'll probably just make things worse. I chose that option partly due to that reason alone, but also because Vizzy did have a point in the fact that if we just let it sit there, chances are Shroud is going to be the one to just walk in and take it, and we'll probably not get it back. Or if Shroud doesn't get it, some of these other villains will get it. And also from our knowledge and Vizzy's knowledge, that warehouse was supposed to be completely empty. Nobody was supposed to know it was there apart from us. Somebody told those villains that it was going to be there. So she went there at least thinking, knowing that she was going to be there by herself, only having to deal with some automated turrets, maybe some armed guards. And that's nothing for her. She can go invisible, she can fight, she can handle all of that. But the problem was that there was a bunch of supervillains there, which she didn't know, and we didn't know they were going to be there either. They weren't supposed to be there. So looking at it from that angle, I could see why she went there. Also her wanting to prove herself to Robert and everyone else that she's not just a villain, even Chase, I guess specifically. She wants to prove to everyone that she can be more than that she's capable of more than that. Especially after what Chase was telling her at the party, right at the end. Also, cutting anyone from the team because they did something wrong, it just never made any sense to me. These were all former supervillains, and we're here partly due to the fact that we're supposed to help them become these heroes, become these people who can be relied on, to become this team that can go out and do some great things, amazing things. And to cut someone because they made a mistake, yes, it was a very costly mistake, but to cut someone because of that, it didn't sit right with me. You can't just give up on someone, especially someone who had a pretty bad past, someone who was a villain. You can't just give up on them because they make mistakes, You have to keep on pushing and pushing up until they're able to change, because some people just need that extra push, especially when they're willing to change, they're trying their best to change. I was someone who didn't want to cut anybody. Like, I didn't want to cut Sonar or Coop. It didn't make any sense to me because like cutting anyone is just gonna, like, what does that do? Send them back into the world being a supervillain? It was to send a message to everyone else on the team to get it through their heads that this isn't a joke. If you want to actually be a hero, you got to take it seriously. But still, it didn't really sit right with me. Right after that scene with Blazer and Robert, Robert's just kind of, man, is just stressing out, bro. He's like, bro, it just gets better and better, right? Sarcastically, of course. And Blazer walks up to him, kneels down, gives him like $5, I think, says, go get something from the vending machine. And she tells him that Chase said he's so proud of the man he's become. We cut over to the next scene, and Robert's trying to put this $5 bill into the vending machine, and I mean, he crumbled it up because he was just mad and he was kind of crying. It's not going in. Waterboy walks over and gives it back to him after he kind of just leaves it in the vending machine, and they put it in a microwave to dry it up. And Waterboy starts saying, it's not fair, like, Invisigal, she's the one that caused all this, and Chase shouldn't be like unconscious right now, possibly on the brink of death. He then asks Robert if Chase did the right thing, and you can say he absolutely did the right thing, you can say I don't know, or you can say no, he didn't do the right thing. I chose to say I don't know in the moment. Honestly, I'm right after that, I should have just said yes, because I mean, any hero, super or not, they would have felt, if they were able to go do something, they would have felt the need to go do something, and that's what Chase did. Even knowing that he could possibly die right after, he still chose to go save Vizzy, even though he didn't like her. The microwave is done, the bill is now dried, we put it into the vending machine, but guess what? The Twinkie gets stuck. Waterboy just gets even more mad, takes the chair and throws it at the vending machine, and yeah, now we get a Twinkie and a bunch of other snacks for free. Right after that, we head back over to our desk and we start our next dispatching shift, and we all know how that goes. But really, the more prominent thing in this shift is that everybody is just down. It's raining outside, dark, gloomy. Everyone was just sad, mad, disappointed at what Vizzy did, and I mean, rightfully so, looking at it from their perspective. She kind of dished them and went off on her own instead of maybe asking them for help, and she possibly got Chase killed. And kind of staying on that subject, after the dispatching shift, we're about to walk out and we see that everybody's in like the meeting room and they're talking. They bring up the fact that they want Vizzy cut from the team, and their reasoning mainly is because of what she kind of put at stake, I guess, and the fact that she didn't call them for help. Everything that they've been through and what they've been trying to do as a team, and she kind of just went off on her own and tried to get the Astro Pulse on her own, causing Chase to go save her at the end of the day, risking his life. Everyone except Golem and Flambe want her gone from the team. Golem, I don't recall, had a specific reason for wanting her to stay on the team, but Flambe did. He says that, after he left, he pretty much tried to kill Robert and he just flew away right after they had that whole brawl at the bar. He was saying that they accepted him back, no problem, but for Vizzy, they want to cut her. He doesn't think it's fair, so he thinks she should be staying on the team. But Flambe and Golem do both agree with the fact that if everybody else wants to cut her from the team, they won't stand in the way of it, just because, I mean, it's 2 versus everybody else. So if the majority opinion is to cut her, then they'll go along with it. So you are then given the option to cut Vizzy or let her stay on the team. Come on, I wasn't going to cut her. I chose to let her stay on the team. And, Robert kind of goes on saying that, of course, everybody's mad, sad, disappointed with what's going on right now. He says now isn't the time to cast blame, but yes, to kind of grieve, but also try to find the positive in it. Even though it may be hard to look at the positive side of things, it might not even seem like there's a positive side of things right now, but they've become a family. Like, they're no longer just a team, but a family, a very messed up family, he says, but a family regardless. And with family, you don't just cast them aside, you don't just kick them out because they may make a mistake or multiple mistakes. You gotta stick with them. And that's exactly how I feel, how I felt in the moment. If it were anybody else on the team, I wouldn't have kicked them out, especially with the fact that it keeps coming back to me, right? They were all former villains. Everyone is bound to make mistakes, but they specifically are also very bound to make mistakes because they're still kind of new to this whole hero thing, including Vizzy. So I really liked the response that Robert gave them. Yes, it was like one or the other, but I think the response was really well done. Honestly, the writing in this game has been really well done. I don't often talk about writing when it comes to like the things I watch and the video games I play, but this game really has some really good writing, not only for the story, but for the characters as well. So after that whole response telling the team that I'm not going to cut Vizzy, we see the door open, then see it close. And nobody walked out, meaning Vizzy was there. She was invisible the entire time. So just imagine we had cut Vizzy in front of her and, just given up on her, She would have looked at us and everybody else as we just gave up on her because we did, essentially. It wasn't even a question whether or not I'd cut her. I definitely was not going to cut her. I knew that option was probably going to come at some point in the game. I had already made up my mind because my gut feeling was that Vizzy in her heart is just not a bad person and that she's been trying to change. So we follow her out into the locker room and we have a conversation with her. She's getting ready to leave, walk out, probably never come back because the rest of the team doesn't want her there. She says they're right not to trust her and to not forgive her for what she did. You're given a few dialogue choices. I don't remember the other two, but I chose to say it's not her fault because that's partially what I believe. I believe she's the cause of Chase going to save her, but at the end of the day, Chase made the decision himself to go and save her. Vizzy did not physically make that man go and do it. Any relatively good person, if they were able to, would have did the exact same thing Chase did. But she's still kind of pushing back on it, saying that she was trying to make up for the things that she's done, trying to get the Astral Post back because she's trying to atone for things that she's done to us. And Robert's just saying that you don't owe anybody anything, least of all me. And then here is where the plot twist comes in. Not really a plot twist for me and many other people because we all had our theories. She tells us she was there that night. So she was the one that planted the bomb on the back of Mecha Man, causing Robert to lose the suit, the Astral Pulse, and go into a coma. Her reasoning for doing this was that the Red Ring and Shroud had augments to make her asthma not go away, but make it a lot better and easier on her. Taking those augments from them meant that she had to work for them, kind of paying them back over time. But Shroud came to her and said that if you do this one thing, then your debt is cleared, you can walk away. But that one thing meant placing a bomb on Robert, Mecha Man. She was the only one who could do it, who could place a bomb on the back of Mecha Man undetected, and she did. She left the scene before Robert even took off out of the building. She left the scene before he even blew up. You can see she was sitting outside in a car and she sees the explosion from a distance. And in the moment, you can see it on her face that she was almost regretting doing what she was about to do, placing the bomb on Mecha Man. When I heard this, when she came out and told us all of this, I wasn't even surprised because, a lot of us had this theory that she was either not evil. I didn't think she was evil, but she was probably working for Shroud, or she used to work with Shroud. That was what I thought. I was saying at some point she worked for Shroud, but now that she's with us, she's no longer working with him or the Red Ring. I also said if she worked for Shroud or is working for Shroud, she was doing it for some good reason. And I mean, helping her asthma, maybe saving her life, I'd say that's a good reason. So I'm kind of glad that I was able to predict that because, like I said before, my gut feeling was telling me that she was not a bad person. People are just put into bad situations and they have to make bad decisions, do bad things. Everyone is different. Everyone's upbringing is different. Everyone's life is different. So not everybody is the same. So you're then given the option to either forgive her, stay mad at her, or say, I don't know how to feel. I chose to forgive her because I knew, well, first of all, I don't want to say I knew, but I did kind of predict what would be the case with her. But my mentality regarding the whole thing, and I'm really glad that Robert actually said pretty much exactly what I was thinking, was that you were a villain and you did villainous things. You're now trying to be a hero. You're trying to change. All that is in the past. We can just forget it and move on. Does that change the things you did to me? No, it doesn't. But again, it was in the past, so we can just leave it at that. I was so happy when he said that because I was like, bro, that's exactly what I'm thinking. This is literally the case with everybody else on the team, bro. We have like 3 people on the team who are murderers. We have an assassin on the team. They may not have done anything directly to us, but they're still, killers on our team. Shoot, we fought Flambe. We cut that man's fingers off. We've burned his eyebrows or, made him lose a tooth, depending on which option you chose. The man tried to kill us, but we're not holding any grudge against him. He's still on the team. So why would I cut Vizzy off the team? Why would I not forgive her? I understand everybody's points, right? I understand where a lot of people are coming from when they say they don't really like Vizzy or they don't trust her anymore. I completely understand it, but I just think you have to kind of look at it from every angle. Don't just look at it from one angle, that she betrayed you, she was a villain, she placed a bomb on you, made you go into a coma, lose the Astral Pulse. Look at everything that you've been going through so far in this game. All the characters that surround you, all the things that they may have done to you. If you do that, I think forgiving her, you'll see that's like the right choice. I can understand you choosing the option to say you don't know how to feel right now in the moment because, yeah, you might not know how to feel exactly in the moment because you found out. If you didn't predict it, then you just found out that she's the one that caused all that. But I think if you really sit and think about everything so far in the game that's happened, then you will forgive her, no problem. Also, I believe the fact that it wasn't something personal made things a lot easier. Again, she was a villain doing villainous things. She didn't do this to get back at Robert. She didn't even know who the man was at the time. So yeah, that's just how I felt. But after I tell her I forgive her, she says, "You can't forgive me. Like, bro, you didn't even process what I just told you." And I found that really funny because I had actually quite literally processed this entire scene before. I had gone through like all the different theories, like you working with Shaw now, maybe having worked with him before, you working with him for some good reason. So her saying that kind of got a laugh out of me because I did. Like, I was like, I processed this before. Okay, it's fine. And I actually think Robert says after that you are a villain doing villainous things. So I kind of put it out of order. And right after that, she continues on saying that she just wants people, and I think she said specifically Robert, to look at her the way Robert looks at Blonde Blazer. And I think this has a double meaning, whether or not you romance Vizzy or if you romance Blazer. If you romance Blazer, I think it still has the meaning of like, I wish you could look at me the way you look at her in like a romantic way. But I think if you romance Vizzy, which I did, she means it in a more like, I wish you could look at me like how you look at Blazer as a hero, this person who's out there doing so much good. How when people see her, everybody just sees this ray of hope, this ray of sunshine, instead of people looking at me and seeing a villain, someone who skulks in the shadows and is a thief. And Robert responds, he's just like, "I don't know what you mean." And she looks at us and says, "Yes, you do." I think that is how they want us to actually look at it, more so than like the romantic way. And that actually reinforced my belief in her, like believing like she wants to be good, because she says it right there, like, "I just want you to look at me the way you look at Blazer, as a hero, someone good who does good," how everybody looks at her as this ray of hope and sunshine. If you have that in you, you have that want to be better, you want people to look at you in this certain light. That's all I needed to believe that she was not a bad person whatsoever. Just because you do bad things does not mean you're a bad person, vice versa. So at the end of all that, she gets up, goes invisible, and walks away, but doesn't actually walk away because she comes up to us and kisses us. You get the option to kind of push her away or lean to it. Come on, you think I was gonna push her away? Of course I leaned into it. And then after, she goes invisible and actually walks away. So same night, fast forwarding a little bit, we're back at the Sardine, that supervillain bar. I honestly don't know why we're back there after what happened, but we're back there. We see on the TV that Blazer is talking about the situation with track star Chase, and some of the villains in the bar and even the bartender, they're talking about the whole thing, kind of making fun of it, making fun of Chase. And you get a few dialogue options to say what you want to say. You can be a little mean or restrain yourself. I did that. I just asked them to change the subject pretty madly. Robert was already mad regardless of what you chose. The man broke one of the glasses and it's like his hand is bleeding now. The bartender's kind of making fun of us, and the dude on the side says, "I think I know why this dude is mad. He probably lost someone in that whole fight." He says, "Get him a drink on me." The bartender says, "No, it's on me," hands him a glass, and yeah. And the bartender's just being mad, disrespectful, talking about Blazer, saying these nasty things. And I mean, you're given the option to splash, well, not even splash, actually just throw the glass at the bartender, or just calm down and don't do anything. Me, I just chose to stay calm, don't do anything, let it pass, whatever. And the guy on the side says, "I actually thought you were gonna throw the glass at him, and I'm good at predicting these things." And you know what the man does right after? Pulls out a revolver and shoots the guy in the head. He then gets up, walks over to the guy and says, "I don't like how he was disrespecting Blazer, one of the last true superheroes." Now with this guy, you can tell things are kind of off, and it's revealed right after that this guy is Shroud. I had already known who it was. I could tell just from the situation, the scenario. It was all too weird. The music was very eerie. And also a little after the guy started talking, I could tell it was Matthew Mercer, and he's revealed to be playing Shroud. He then says, "Hey, can you clean this up for me?" And he wasn't talking to us, but talking to Sonar. Now, depending on who you chose to cut earlier in the game, that's the person who's going to show up and knock you out. So since I cut Sonar, he showed up to knock me out. If I chose Coop, she would have showed up to knock me out. So we cut to the next scene. We're now hanging upside down, getting beat or cut, depending on who you chose. They're trying to get information out of us, trying to figure out where the astral post is. Shroud is just talking his talk, talking about our father, how he shot him like 4 times. The same gun he just used to shoot the bartender is the same gun he used to kill Robert's father, and that actually was Robert's father's gun. There's one more bullet left in it, and he's doing calculations and all that, saying there's this much percentage that the bullet will hit you. I think he might have said like a 16% chance, and you get a choice. You can like spit in the man's face, say, I'm gonna kill you, or I forgot what the other option is, but I chose to just say, I'm gonna kill you. Shroud pulls the trigger, and of course, it didn't hit us, right? I knew it wasn't gonna hit us, but you know. Robert then says he doesn't know where the astral pulse is, he doesn't have it, and I mean, Shroud, I guess he has a bunch of technology in him, in his head and everything. He kind of reads his body temp and all that, I think, and he says, huh, you actually believe that? Then pulls up footage of Vizzy, you know, in that shipping yard, in that, like, I think ship, when she has the briefcase with the astral pulse in it, and she shows him the footage that Vizzy actually took it out of the briefcase. This was another theory that we all had going on. We all thought that she just took it out of the case and, you know, made sure that Shroud or anybody else couldn't get it. And that was the case, so she fooled him and anybody else who might have gone after her. Shroud then says, yeah, she played me, she played you. In the moment, Robert doesn't really say anything, but right after that, a door is blown open. The guy standing in front of the door, guarding it, falls to his face, and what do you know? It's Blonde Blazer to the rescue. Shroud says, welcome, you know, I can't get you a drink because the bartender, I just fired him, more like fired a bullet in his face, but yeah, I can get you a drink if you want. And she's just like, no thanks, I'm here for him, Robert. She continues on in and says, yes, I can see that I'm outnumbered, but I can still do a lot of damage. So you guys can all leave right now, safe and sound, or half of you can die right here. That was kind of a different side that I don't think we really seen with Blazer. Oh yeah, she also says that there's a bunch of backup coming. She was bluffing. So everybody gets scared. Shroud agrees to just leave, and yeah, they leave. Blazer unties him, and I mean, yeah, you can get the choice to say there's no backup actually coming, right? And yeah, she'll be like, yeah, there was nobody coming. You can say thank you, and there's that other dialogue choice that I forgot, which I always do. So she takes him out of there, flies him to that same Phenomenon billboard, I think that's kind of near the Hollywood sign, and there's another little moment there. He thanks her for saving him again, and they start talking about Vizzy, about how Robert saw the footage of her taking the astral pulse, and you know, I chose the option to say, I trust her, it's fine, she probably did this for a good reason. And Blazer's response, I mean, depending on what you say, but for what I said, she just says, I think you have more faith in her than I do. I think she actually said you have a lot more optimism than I do. But they sit there for a couple minutes, maybe not even actually, and things start to pop off. Bunch of explosions all across the city. Seems like Shroud and his gang, the Red Ring, have started a bunch of attacks. Robert and Blazer take off, head back to SDN, and that's the end of the episode. Moving on to episode 8, and the final episode of the season. So we're at SDN. Everyone is kind of scrambling, trying to figure things out because everything outside is looking real rough after it seems Shroud and the Red Ring have started a bunch of attacks across the city. There's another call outside that needs some heroes, and Blazer tells them to send all available heroes there, but they say there are no available heroes. Everybody's out doing something right now. So Blazer takes it upon herself to go out into the field finally. We haven't really seen her go out much, so she goes out and handles the situation herself. Robert tells her to stay safe and make sure she comes back, and now we get to our station and we're starting our dispatching session. We start off with only 3 people. I think it was Prism, Punch Up, and Golem. Because it's like late at night, everybody's sleeping, everybody's starting to come in slowly but surely they're coming in. Getting overrun by calls, we're short on people, very short on people. We're just trying to make do with what we can do with what we've got. Eventually the power throughout the city goes out and the SDN backup generators start to kick in, and we realize that Chase, who's pretty much on like life support in the med bay, is, you know, vulnerable. He can just die because everything went out. We rush down, go to check on him, and he's fine. It seems the power, the backup generators and everything kicked in just in time, so he's still good. We leave beef with Chase and go to Roy's workshop. Roy was ahead of us, so he was already there. So we walk in and we see Roy kind of fiddling around, holding something invisible, and it's Invisigal, of course. Roy thinks she's in there to steal the Mecha Man suit because she came with the astral pulse, so he ties her up and just sits her down there. She says, no, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm not trying to steal the suit, and she pretty much warns them that there's a bunch of guys outside Red Ring, they're coming in, taking hostages and all that, and there's no communications coming in, going out of SDN right now, so I chose the option to say, hey, tell me where the mech suit is. That's the only option right now, that's the only way that we can stand a chance against them. But Roy tells us where it is, he heads out, and we start talking to Vizzy, asking her why she didn't tell us where the astral pulse is or why she had it, and she tells us it was to protect us, right? Because if she gave Robert the astral pulse, Shroud took us, right? He would have gotten it then, in which she was right. I mean, if she gave it to us when Shroud took us out, he would have gotten it. Now it looks like Red Ring is getting closer and closer to our location, so we get the chance to untie her or keep her tied up. Of course, I chose to untie her. Even with all of this, I'm still choosing to trust her. We take out a couple guys in the building. Robert heads over to the mech suit, uncovers it, and looks like we got a new mech suit, new design and everything. So we hop in, put in that Astro Pulse, take the other one out because, you know, that prototype doesn't work. And Mecha Man is back in action. So we see Royd outside handling business, man. This dude is huge, just throwing people around like he's the Hulk. He's holding his own, but he's kind of getting overrun. So we go over, help him out. We make our grand entrance, and yeah, man, he's seeing the suit. Robert's like, man, you really outdid yourself with this, you know? In which he did, bro. That was like a major upgrade. So now it's me and Royd versus a bunch of other supervillains. We got that toxic dude from the very first episode returning. We got, I think his name was Armstrong, the dude with the two like baby arms and the two really big Mecha Man arms. Not Mecha Man arms, but mech arms. Of course, that toxic dude keeps antagonizing us, talking about our dad. But shortly after, it seems like a shadow starts looming over us, and we look up. It's a giant spider mech robot. And guess who's in it? Shroud. Fast forwarding past a few dialogue lines, we just get straight into it. We jump at that man, start launching missiles at him, attacking him. Laser swoops in real quick, but Shroud catches her. But then we realize that that's actually not Blazer, but like a mirror image of her that Prism created. So our team comes to the rescue. Everybody starts attacking, get into a big fight. One of the coolest sequences in the game starts right here. The fight goes on for a little bit. Everybody's doing their best, but we all kind of get not taken out, but we're getting weared out just because Shroud can predict our like every move. So just running at him, throwing everything we have at him, it's not really doing much. We need to try to figure a way out to take him out. Blazer tries to charge directly at him, and she gets hit with like an ultimate. She gets sent flying kind of into SDN. She falls in a hole, and you know, Robert kind of just tweaks out and just goes and jumps at him, throwing everything he's got at him. And then we're pinned against the wall. Shroud is about to hit us with an ultimate. Time starts slowing down, and then boom, something hits Shroud. And what do you know? Is Chase. It improves, so Blazer got knocked into a hole. I'm assuming that's where Chase was laying down, and I guess she decided to give her amulet to him. And you know, that amulet gives her powers, so Chase already having powers, now he's just amplified. So with Chase's attack, it seems he took out a really critical part of the mech suit that Shroud is in, so we launch a second wave of our attack. We're really laying it to him now, messing him up. The team starts pulling off some crazy moves that I've never seen, moves that I didn't even know they were capable of. Literally everybody got a piece of it. And one of my like favorite moments of this fight, you as Robert attack Shroud and you get the chance to do a move. It says get over here or super spirit bomb, bro. I saw that super spirit bomb. I never clicked the button so fast. I was always wondering, does Robert's mech suit not have like some sort of ultimate, like you press a button and it just does some crazy move? That was it. That's what I was waiting for. So we hit him with our ultimate. He drops to the ground, mech blows up, destroys, and everybody starts to celebrate. We see Shroud walk out of the suit, and he's got beef. So we're pretty much trying to negotiate. He says, just Robert, come over here with the mech suit, get out the mech suit, give me the Astro Pulse, and beef will live. So we go up to him. Robert gets out the mech suit. He takes out the Astro Pulse, but he also takes out the prototype Astro Pulse that we used before, the one that doesn't actually work. So we walk up to Shroud. He says, hey, don't even try to give me that fake Astro Pulse. I'll know. Okay, I know you have it. We get the option now. Do we give him the real one, the fake one, or do we give him both? Now, it took me a few minutes to make my decision, but I ended up giving him both. It felt like the best decision in the moment. And he was just so confused. He was like, bro, what is this? And he's just like, bro, they look identical, you know? Robert's just like, you wanted the Astro Pulse? There it is. One of those is the Astro Pulse. Pretty much doing that, you outsmart him because he's trying to calculate everything, right? He didn't calculate that we would give him both. Now, he has to take a chance, a gamble on whether or not the one he chooses is the real Astro Pulse. So he throws one to the ground, he takes one, puts it in his head, and it seems that he has the real Astro Pulse. Starts like powering up. Everybody on his team, you know, the Red Ring, they're all powering up because they're like all connected. For a second, it seems we made the wrong decision, but he starts talking his talk and he just kind of stops for a second and throws up. So does everybody else, a part of the Red Ring. So he made the wrong choice. Robert starts kind of making fun of him, and you know, he gets mad. He's like, well, looks like we both lost. So Shroud pulls out his gun and shoots, but the bullet gets stopped by an invisible person. Invisigal stepped in front of us and took the bullet for us. So she got shot in the shoulder. You know, Robert kind of just gets up quickly and attacks Shroud, starts punching and punching and punching, pretty much going invincible on him. And there you get the option. Do you kill Shroud or do you spare him? Now, my whole idea throughout the game was that if Shroud was exactly who we thought he was, Elliot Connors, the man who killed our father, who was a part of the Brave Brigade, who worked with them, went rogue, like founded the Red Ring, the same man causing all these problems across the city. If it's actually just him and there's no twist, yeah, I'm taking him out. And guess what I did? I took him out. Now, I'm gonna be honest. Right after, I kind of regretted my decision just because the team saw that, and it even says it in the top left corner. Everyone will remember that. I shouldn't have done that because it sends the wrong message to the team, I believe. Not because, like, I don't want to say it's not what heroes do, because I don't completely agree with that, but that was just me. Go over to Vizzy, and, she's shot in the shoulder, but she's fine. She does pass out, and the scene cuts over to, the next part. Cops are all over the scene, paramedics, firefighters, the news, and everybody's just celebrating on the win. Chase gets interviewed by the news people. They ask him, hey, is it true that Stroud was taken out by not a hero, but an SDN dispatcher? He's just like, I'm not going to confirm, but I'm not going to deny it either. But he got what he deserved. After that, we have a nice little talk with Vizzy before she heads over to the hospital, gets in the ambulance. She lays a kiss upon us in front of everybody, so everybody just like cheering on, and We then go talk to Mandy, and we're on a car just drinking a little bit, trying to relax for a minute. Ask her if the whole thing, giving the amulet to Chase, if that's permanent. She's just like, no, he's gonna borrow it for now until we can find something else that can stop him from dying, She then tells us, hey, take care of Vizzy. I saw how she looks at you, how she kissed you. Take care of her, We then go over to our team. We getting ready to take pictures. That random cat person, comes and takes the picture for us, so Mandy can actually be in the picture too, because she's a part of the team. Everybody's tossing Robert in the air, and and then Vizzy, actually, who was supposed to be headed over to the hospital, comes out of nowhere and hops in the picture. And that's where it ends. Such a great ending to a great game. Like, I had so much fun with this game. It was unbelievable. I'm so glad that I played it. Everything about it was just amazing. The writing, the characters, the action. Shoot, the gameplay itself was so much more fun than I thought it would be. All like the talk around it on social media and all was just amazing too. And just congrats to Ad Hoc Studio and Critical Role and everybody else involved, because they did such an amazing job on their first game with this new studio. Of course, they're not new to the game, to the development world, but this is their first game in this new studio. I'm real happy for them. Hopefully they continue it on. I know there's going to be a season 2 at some point, but their next game, it seems, is going to be another game based off of D&D. Season 2 of Dispatch, it seems we'll have to wait unless they make that the priority. Nonetheless, I will wait no matter how long it takes. But let me know how you guys felt about this, man. I don't think anybody disliked anything about this game, I'm gonna be honest. It seems for the most part, everybody loved this game. And we all just want more of this game, like, as soon as possible. This is a longer video, longer than I expected it to be. I know, I was just kind of talking about each point in the game, but I felt that's how I should do this video. But if you guys enjoyed the video, like it up, subscribe, and of course, I'll see you in the next one. More Dispatch videos to come. It's not over yet.